We're going to have you say hi to Bill Hamlin.
Oh.
It should be remembered that some LDS
Hello,
members
Bill Hamlin.
didn't accept the same.
See, I've got the good guy with me. You're out there, you're all by yourself.
Oxford schmucksford,
Yeah. I mean, he already gave 10 reasons why BYU is better than Oxford. Listen, there's 20 reasons why Oxford's better than BYU. So, I want to ask you a quick question. And I got to get this on video because
Okay.
I'm putting this on YouTube, so you will be held accountable.
I'm held accountable for things I don't do, so what's the difference?
Yes, but this will be the evidence. This will be the proof. You are paid by the underlings, aren't you?
I'm paid vast amounts. I mean, it's getting so old. I mean, platinum bathroom fixtures, what more can I use the money for?
You've actually caught up with minimum wage? I gotta come to BYU and teach.
Dan, did you get that Ferrari that Fair provides for you?
Yeah,
But this is more proof he's got a Ferrari.
Yeah, but I need another one, you know. I need a nighttime one with a different color. Can we do that?
Anything for you. Absolutely anything.
There you have it, folks. Proof, man. Right out of the horse's mouth.
Reacted and came in wanting help, and he said, you know, sorry to put this on you. It was it was kind of a big time-consuming thing. And I said, oh, not to worry. That's why they pay me the big bucks. And he said, really? How much do they pay you? And I said, oh, gee, better nip this one in the bud really quickly. Nothing. Zero. I wouldn't do this for money. If they tried to hire me, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, hold on. I want proof that I was with. This is the Backyard Professor with the Daniel C. Peterson. I've asked Dan for an interview real quick because I've noticed an interesting trend, especially on, and I'll identify it. What are you going to do? Sue me. It's on Shade's message boards where there's quite a few folks there who act like complete idiots. And I'm not sure if it's on purpose. I hope it is, because if you're doing it in ignorance, you really need to quit. You need to learn this. I want you to understand Daniel C. Peterson's idea here. So, all right, I have noticed the one thing I want to get straight is you are considered a self-righteous, arrogant, pompous ass, and I have never understood you to be that way. Why do you think that attitude comes across to people?
Well, I think it's clear.
What are you doing to make people think you're that way?
Well, it's clear that people who don't know me see the real me, where people who do know me have no clue. I mean, that's got to be the way it works, right? You know, I think the biggest problem is that there are a lot of people out there who they may protest the other side, but in fact they don't understand irony. I use irony really thickly. I use it partly because I don't want to use a sledgehammer. I've always thought a rapier was a little better than a meat axe. And so,
Meaning what?
Meaning that sometimes when people are taking positions that I think are just flat out stupid, I don't want to say this is just flat out stupid. So I make a joke. So people then think I'm being really mean and nasty. Well, trust me, it's not nearly as mean and nasty as my frank opinion might be. So,
Okay.
you know, I mean, on one level, I'd say the irony, partly because it's just me. I have a sense of humor. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Never.
But
Never apologize.
but I don't like front-on confrontations. I don't like to just say to people, look, you're a moron, a jerk, and depraved, or whatever the thing happens to be. You know, so I'll make a little joke at their expense, and I try to get them to see, you know, the disconnect between sound reasoning and their position, or between, say, their position on this and their position on that. I like to point out inconsistencies and so on. That can, you know, and I'll admit that I take apologetics and defense of the church really seriously. I take the issues really seriously, but, you know, frankly, I don't take myself all that seriously. I'm an idiot. Everyone is.
We all are, aren't we?
Uh-huh.
Truly. The more you read, the more you realize.
Sure.
I mean, how many books at the BYU library have you really read?
Oh yeah,
Peterson.
Look, if you could read a book a day, for the rest of your life, you still wouldn't begin to make a dent in the number of books that are out there that you ought to have read.
Now, how many times have I said that on my Backyard Professor videos? Seriously. Now I have a real PhD saying the same thing. In fact, when I first saw BYU's library, it was the most odd thing because I was thrilled and I was completely depressed.
Yeah.
Because I'll never live long enough to read all that wonderful stuff.
That's right.
I go off into the Judaism section. It's astonishing, but it's completely depressing because I'll never get through it all.
Right. One of the
and that's
things
just
that-
one section.
one-
How big do you think BYU's library is?
Oh gosh, I don't know what it is now.
I mean, truly, there's several
I
floors,
remember when
right?
we hit 1 million, and we're well past that, somewhere on the order of 3 million. I don't know, something like that.
3 million books.
and they're accumulating
How
so
many
fast.
do you think really, truly, in your life you've read?
Oh gosh,
Couple
I don't know,
thousand,
a few
several thousand?
thousand. Yeah, a few thousand max. And you don't remember most of what you've read. I mean, that's
And
the
that's the
irritating
other
thing. And I'll tell you what plunges me into depression. I get the Oxford catalogs, right? Oxford University Press catalogs. They send me into a tailspin for a couple of days because I start looking through it. This is new stuff. It's just coming out. I haven't read the old stuff. The new stuff that's coming out, half of it I want to read. I know I won't. I mean, if I read 1 or 2 from a given catalog, I'll consider myself really lucky. And so it's frustrating.
Now that I've got you,
It ought to make you humble.
I've said that too, haven't I? Yes, absolutely. Another question I've been wanting to get a real PhD to say for me on my videos is with the amount of information that we're digesting, if you read, I really, truly, maybe average a book a week, it's under 300 pages, and that's real good for me now at this point. I used to be able to do a book a day. That was when I was self-employed and could fudge.
Right.
Now that I have a time clock, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But how much, when you read a subject in a subject, and you find something from 1963, and then something else from 1979, and then something else from 1989, and then something from 2005, the newer the materials, does that automatically make all of the old stuff out of date and useless and no good and suspect?
No, I mean, in some fields, maybe. In some fields like, I don't know, engineering or maybe chemistry or something, it might tend to do that. But in fields like mine,
And yours
ancient
is?
studies,
Okay, ancient studies.
medieval Islamic studies, things like that, things written in the 19th century are still good. I mean, not only good, but some of them are still the best things ever done. I'm in awe of some of these 19th century Orientalists who seem to have read everything in every language.
But back then they could have.
Back then they could. And nowadays, nowadays we're so specialized. There's nobody who commands the field the way Theodor Noldeke or Julius Wellhausen or someone like that did. Some of the really
We've
big
all
names.
read them, right?
Well, the Wellhausen hypothesis is an
Wellhausen,
important
possibly.
one. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But these guys would do Islamic studies and Old Testament and Mesopotamian studies. Nobody can do that anymore. But they are brilliant, partially because they see the whole picture. And today we have specialists who see only parts of the picture. So you can still go back to these old books, and they're just wonderful. They're by no means obsolete. Here or there they need to be corrected.
And
but-
one of the reasons I'm asking is because for years I went and tried to photocopy all of the farm's footnotes. I started with Hugh Nibley's materials.
Yeah.
All of it's in German and French.
Yeah.
Back when they had it in the old staffs.
Yeah.
They've taken it away from me, man. But I've had critics say, well, you're using stuff from the 1940s.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 1979.
Yeah.
Nibley's worthless because he used all the old stuff. You Mormons are always out of date.
Yeah.
You don't dare come up to date in true science and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to, I have tried to tell people what makes something out of date is if I'm using a 1920 source and new archaeological information has come out that shows that earlier information was completely wrong.
Yeah.
And that new information has come out. Now that would outdate that section.
Sure.
But for instance, you say the idea of metals in the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Some of the research done by John Sorensen and yourself, and you've noted that in some of your work. But we're using some of the scholars from the 1950s because that's what they had. Larry, how are you?
How are you?
Hey, come here, real quick. Hang
Let
on
me
to
just
that
comment.
quick.
Oh, you want to take him? Okay.
Well, I want to take it. This is Larry Paulson also. While I'm interviewing Dan Peterson, say hi to Bill Hamlin, Larry.
Hello, Bill Hamlin.
All right. Go ahead. Finish
Well,
that.
I was just going to say, sometimes newer work, makes older work obsolete. There's no question about that. But sometimes the older work is still really, really good. And in some cases, the newer people simply haven't read the old stuff. I mean, excellent points are made, and they're forgotten. So, where that may not be the case, I mean, reading geology from the 1830s may or may not have any value at all, except for intellectual history.
Don't tell
But-
Barry Bickman. Sorry, Barry.
Well, I mean, in the sense that it's a field that really does make earlier research obsolete. We're much better now than we used to be. But but you may go back to Wellhausen or someone like that and think, good grief, this is a brilliant insight. I've never